The F sound and the V sound. Even if your language has one or both of these sounds, you might not be using them correctly in English. Hi, I'm Josh, your American English guide. Last time we talked about the H sound, and we introduced the concept of voiced and voiceless. Remember that voiceless is just air, it's just breath. So the F sound is voiceless. Voiced means that you vibrate your vocal cords to make some sort of sound. The V sound is the voiced version of the F sound. Same placement, same everything. The only difference is that you vibrate your vocal cords. For some of you, you don't have the F or the V sound in your language. For others, you might have one or both of these sounds in your native language, but they might be pronounced a little bit differently. So let's first talk about how to pronounce these sounds. So you're going to take your bottom lip and your top teeth right here, the top front teeth, and these are the two things you're going to use to make these sounds. Do not use your top lip. You want to bring the bottom lip up to those teeth. Let's go over a couple details here. Make sure, one, that you are not letting this lip come either too far down or too far out, because then you get, it's close to the W. Even if this lip is in, it creates sort of almost like a W sound, and that is one of the most common mistakes. You want to just use that bottom lip. So if you feel your top lip is moving, you need to control it and make sure that it doesn't move. But I'm not just moving my lip up. There is some upward movement. It's actually coming in a little bit to meet these top teeth up here. So from the side, notice that the top lip can move very slightly. Now, another very big common mistake is that you will either not put your lip close enough to your teeth, or that you will push too hard into the teeth. And in the first case, we will hear it almost like an H sound. It doesn't really sound like an F, it sounds more just like you're breathing. This is actually very close to the Japanese H sound. If you are pushing too hard and you're making it too close, then the air can't flow and we get okay, it doesn't work. So don't push too hard. It should be kind of just right, just a nice touch, very light touch. And the exact point where your teeth here touch onto your lip, it can be up here right on top, like right here. So you can sort of pull that, or you can let it sort of sit right inside the lip, like right in here, okay? And that's the same for the V. Now there's one more common mistake that you want to avoid, which is not using enough air. Now this affects both the F sound and the V sound, but it really affects the F sound a lot because the F sound is just air. And so if you don't use enough force of your breath, then it really might not come out clearly. And in my experience teaching English, the English F and V sounds tend to be a little bit stronger than in many other languages. Make sure that you are producing a very nice and clear f or v. Let's look at some examples. As we look at examples of consonant words in this course, we will be looking at them in 3 different positions: at the start of a word, in the middle of a word, and at the end of a word. For some consonants, this is more important than for other consonants, but in my experience teaching English, I've learned that many students might be able to pronounce a consonant sound by itself, and maybe even in words, but one or more of these specific positions aren't pronounced strongly enough or clearly enough. So we want to make sure that we touch all three possible cases. Again, I recommend that you work with a partner or a tutor so that you can make sure that you are pronouncing these sounds loudly enough and clearly enough. Let's look at examples for the F sound. Find, fan, fee, from, after, laughing, prefer, often, laugh, half, off, if. And now examples for the V sound. Very, than, vowel, vertical, beaver, pavement, giving, obvious, have, leave, of, stove. Note that at the end of words, the sound can be a little weaker because we are dropping the breath. Now it's time for a tongue twister. We will do one for F and one for V. F. Repeat after me. 50 free foxes fall after funny laughing effects. 50 free foxes fall after funny laughing effects. "50 free foxes fall after funny. 50 free foxes. 50 free foxes fall after funny laughing effects." V. Repeat after me. Every vast voice loves every oven and stove. Every vast voice loves every oven and stove. Every vast voice loves every oven and stove. Unlike the vowels, consonants in general tend to be more consistent and more reliable for their spelling. If you see the letter F, 99% of the time it will be pronounced as an F sound. If you see the letter V, 99% of the time it will be pronounced as a V sound. Of course, one very common exception would be the preposition of, which uses a V sound. In comparison, the preposition off, which is spelled with two Fs, uses the F sound, but that's another common point here. Most of the time, when you see two of the same English consonant letters, it will mean that the sound is just one sound. It's not a longer sound, it's not anything special, so this does not affect the pronunciation at all. Of course, there are some other ways to spell these two sounds, especially the F. We have the PH, which mostly comes from words of Greek origin. And then we also have sometimes the GH at the end of words like laugh, cough, or enough are also pronounced as an F. But many times that GH is completely silent, so you can't trust that. A very special thanks to our Patreon supporters. Of course, leave any questions or comments that you have. Thank you so much for watching another English Hacks lesson, and I will see you guys in the next one. I don't know if you guys could see me sweating, but it's literally like 34 degrees Celsius or something in here.